Welcome to another episode of Poko's Primetime Pick. Hey, welcome everybody. We're at week 7 of Poko's Primetime Picks. So, Poko's Primetime Picks, let me tell you what we're doing here. We have 3 Poko brothers, Mike Poko, Scott Poko, Terry Poko. We have a couple of Poko sons. We have Michael Poko and we have Rhino Poko. And we like to get together and do primetime picks for Survivor Leagues. Now, we do this in honor of the original Poko, which is Butch Poko. We do them a little different. We don't pick from every game. We pick from the primetime games, but we also have a little twist in there, and we'll get to that later in the show. The last few weeks, my main co-host, Michael Poko, has been on assignment, and we've had a couple of the Poko brothers fill in. I think we've had some great episodes, but I'm happy to announce that my main co-host, Michael Poko, is back. I want to welcome Michael. Welcome back to the show.
Hello. Thanks for having me back. It's great to be back here in the studio. I returned from Atlanta, did all my intelligence gathering on the Falcons, and that's not why I went to Atlanta, but I'm happy to be back.
Oh, that's great, because we've never picked Atlanta yet, so that could come in handy later in the year where you get that local boots on ground flavor. We like it, and we're gonna keep that in our hip pocket. So the last couple weeks, I had Terry and Scott Poko fill in. Did you get to listen to any of those shows, and what did you think of them?
I did. I'm very impressed with the production quality of these shows. I gotta ask how our budget's looking these days, and if maybe we could start giving a salary to our co-hosts. No, I think it's phenomenal. I like the music. I love the graphics. It's fantastic, Dad. It's really cool to see this grow.
Yeah, I mean,
Continue to
it's
get better.
been really good, and we have tied up a lot of our budget into our back shop staff because they're doing some good works. You know, who knows? With our salary cap, maybe next year when you're up for, your free agency, maybe we can discuss that. But right now, we're on a really strict salary cap, as you know.
That's true. And you did have me on an 18-year contract in the developmental league, so can't forget about that investment.
That's right. So hopefully going forward, we'll start bringing in bigger payroll and can expand everybody's salaries. So I want to talk a little bit about last week's pick. Now, last week we had a great opportunity because we had one of our sons make the pick, and it was Rhino Poko. And he expertly picked the Chicago Bears. The Bears.
Yeah, congrats.
Congrats. They flew the W. So, Mike, what do you think of last week's pick?
Yeah, I thought that Ryan knocked it out of the park. I think there was definitely some consensus with a lot of these Pokos leaning towards the Bears. I think, it was a young QB battle. Trevor Lawrence was, I believe, a former, first overall pick. He was pretty highly touted, and of course, Caleb Williams, walking that same path. So to see the Bears offense be able to move the ball at will was really nice to see, especially, given that the Jaguars don't have that great of a defense. So it's good when the Bears, blow out a bad team, because good teams blow out bad teams. So I thought that pick was a great pick, and it hit.
I couldn't agree more. Watching that game was very exciting. Obviously, like we said earlier in the year, the Bears are on the rise, but they're a young and up-and-coming team. And you know what? They've got the toughest part of their schedule is coming up. So we'll see what they can do in the second half. On Poko Primetime Picks, we do picks as a group, kind of like in a primetime setting. However, we each have our own survivor teams Now, over the years, in my work survivor league, the ECAST Outcast League, we've done really well. We've had multiple family members win multiple times. So this year has been a little unusual, but we're still in it to win it. However, we've had some family members strike out. That's not a reflection upon what we're going to bring to our audience, but it is what it is. So, for Michael Poko, Terry Poko, they both struck out. So they're no longer in the league. Um, Scott Poko, he was still alive. However, this week, I know he had a busy schedule and he did not submit a pick, so he is out. He got 3 strikes. So the ECAST Outcast Survivor League only has 14 teams left. Myself personally, I picked the Bears, and they flew the W for me. So I still only have 2 strikes, which is still a lot. But everyone else in the league that submitted a pick, all 14 teams, they flew a W. So it is really tight, but it's down to not so many teams. So this brings us up to a point of the show that I call Candidate Corner. Let me explain to you how we pick our candidates for each week. On Poco Primetime Picks, we always pick the primetime games. So you'll have Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night. But then we like to do some of the unusual games. For example, we'll pick all the games from the United Kingdom, games from Brazil, Mexico City, Germany. We'll include all those. And then we like to add a little flair. We like to give you the national broadcast games. So we'll pick the Tony Romo game and the Tom Brady game in our selections each week. Now I'm going to ask Michael to deliver our primetime candidates rundown of the weeks, if you will, Michael.
Yeah, first on the docket is Thursday night. We have the Denver Broncos with the Yahoo Survivor percentage picked at 0.43%, so it's less than 1%. And they are at the New Orleans Saints, who is being picked at 1.08%. So a couple of facts about this game. Denver, it looks like they're going to be without Surtain, their elite cornerback. And then New Orleans is going to be missing Olave and Shaheed, their top 2 receivers. And of course, they're down their quarterback, Derek Carr. Spencer Rattler started last week. And that offense looked okay against the Bucs. They put up some points, but it'll be very interesting to see how they go up against Denver, who has a good defense. We have the London game next, where we have the New England Patriots being picked at 0.24%, the Jacksonville Jaguars being picked at 3.9%. Jacksonville, of course, was there last week. They got their butts handed to them by the Bears. So this will be Derek Mays' second start of the season. Air quotes on Derek from the Flub and in our second show. So Jacksonville is going to look to try to bounce back after they got beat by the Bears. However, I believe they could possibly be missing ETN, their starting running back, and of course, a former Bear and now former Jaguar, Roy Robertson Harris, was traded to the Seahawks. So they have made some moves on their defense. And then another interesting recent development is that Drake May is getting an MRI being done today, as in Wednesday. So we'll definitely need to stay tuned on that fact. We have the Tony Romo game, where the Houston Texans being picked at 0.12% are at Green Bay being picked at 0.19%. And we know, unfortunately, Love dismantled the Cardinals last week. They look really good. However, CJ Stroud, he rained on Drake May's parade, his first start, where they routed the Patriots. Again, 2 top quarterbacks in the league. I'll note that the Texans, they got last week, they got back Mixon and Pierce, their top 2 running backs. So they should be taking a step up, despite losing Nico Collins, their stud receiver. We have the Brady game. We cannot pick either of these teams, but we have the Kansas City Chiefs being picked at 0.28%, and they're at the 49ers being picked at 0.07%. And of course, Brady, this is now a new owner, a new minority owner of the Raiders, who will be adding to his accolades on top of being the announcer for the game. And then we have Sunday Night Football. This, I think, will be a very interesting game, or highly viewed. We have. I just got a notification live. He's getting the MRI after practice, but he was a full participant today for Drake May. Just as a new alert. Now going back to Sunday Night Football, we have the New York Jets being picked at 0.2%, and they're at the Pittsburgh Steelers being picked at 0.84. Now, of course, big news with the Jets. Davante Adams has been brought in a trade, and he's now reunited with Aaron Rodgers. So great for them. And news on the Steelers front, Russell Wilson's been taking first-team reps, and he may start this game. And also, Justin Fields may play in this game. There may be some kind of Taysom Hill-like usage with Fields, but we'll have to wait and see. The Monday night game, the first one is the Baltimore Ravens at 0.61%, Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 0.07%. And we want to wish everyone well in Tampa Bay after that hurricane. We hope everyone is doing good, and we send our thoughts and prayers out to them. Tampa Bay, last week, they dropped over 50 points on the Saints, and also that was without their top running back, Rachaad White. Their backups played really well, and then the Lamar showed Daniels that he's still the king of mobile QBs, with the Ravens beating the Commanders last week. And in our last Monday Night Football game, we have the Chargers being picked at 0.35% at the Arizona Cardinals being picked at 0.14%. So the Chargers pass catchers from last week got banged up. Some of their top receivers, McConkey and Johnston, have been dealing with injuries in that game. And also there was a bit of a scare with their head coach Harbaugh, but he seems to be fine and back after going into that blue tent. And in the Arizona offense, they have been struggling to score. They also have a serious injury with Marvin Harrison Jr. He is in concussion protocol. He has a confirmed concussion. And they really need him to help move that ball, because their offense has not looked so great. Also, James Conner, he may have an ankle injury, so we'll have to look more into that as well and see how things progress.
Mike, thanks for that great rundown. So now I'd like to move on to the segment of the podcast where we make our picks of the week. Michael, if I could get your pick of the week.
Yeah, my pick of the week, these games all have pretty low percentage picks. So it's pretty difficult to pick from these teams. However, we have to do one. That's why we do this show. So with that being said, my pick of the week is going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that even adding Adams, I don't think Aaron Rodgers can get it done. I personally hope he can't get it done, as he's got it done against us many times. I think Pittsburgh will win at home.
Oh, great pick, Mike. So now I'm going to go to Scott and Rhino. And I know Rhino's been giving his pop, Scott Poko, some tips after Rhino's big pick from last week. And they're going to go ahead and give their pick together.
I'm going with the once mighty New England Patriots. This is their one chance to deliver a knockout punch, and they do it. They knock out the Jags and their coach.
Well, that's a great pick, Scott and Rhino. Here's my pick of the week. Now, my pick of the week is a little sentimental. I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Why? Because I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers players are going to feel energized to give their local fans something to celebrate. There's been a lot of damage in that area, but I think they're going to bring the W home. So I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So Terry sent me his pick. Terry, what is your pick?
This is a really tough slate, but I'm going to go Baltimore over Tampa Bay. They got it really rolling right now.
Thanks for that pick, Terry. So this is the segment of the show where we do our PPP segment, and it's the Principal Prime Time Picker. Now, a principal always gets to make the final decision. For this week, I am going to be the Principal Prime Time Picker. I've weighed all the choices, and I'm going against the odds. because I really feel that the players of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to deliver for the fans of Central Florida. They're going to bring those fans' spirits up high and let them feel good about something, because they're all working hard to recover, and we as the country need to support them and give them the good thoughts that they need. So I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'd like to close out the show now, and I just want to say, go Bucks, go Florida, Florida strong. And Michael, you could have a chance if you want to plug something. Go right ahead and say goodbye.
Yeah, so I just want to say, I think when the Red Cross partners with the NFL, yes, the NFL, they get to look good for giving that donation, but also the exposure of the NFL being able to advertise that to millions of people. I think it is important that we all band together and try to give what we can to help out the people of Florida and the Carolinas. So my plug is go Bucks, go Florida, go Red Cross.
That's a great point, Mike. I didn't even think about that. You're right. It is the bigger play is the exposure to get more people to give, because you're right. If it's not in your backyard, you don't care. But if you're watching a game and you see those ads, you're going to say, let me give what I can. If you can, go to American Red Cross. Give what you can to help the people that have been affected by Hurricane Milton and Helene. So that's something that we can all do together. So I want to say goodbye. I want to say click like. I want to say click subscribe, because we want to keep doing these shows, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Poko's Primetime Picks.